Hey, Taylor, thank you for doing this today.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, what can you tell us about Parker Washington and what kind of allowed him to emerge so quickly? You don't often see a true freshman be a starter right off the bat like that. Thank you.
I believe we as a program believe in playing the best players, and in our room we talk about the recipe for finding your way out onto the field, and that is one, obviously staying healthy, two, knowing what to do, and then three, how well do you do it. Another thing that we talk about is being tough, being consistent, and being explosive, and so those are the things that he demonstrated really all of camp. And so he's earned where he's at on the depth chart, the snaps that he's getting in the game. He's earned that through a lot of hard work and just a consistent performance.
Let's go to Andrew Porterfield with the Daily Collegian. Rich Garcella on deck.
Hey, Taylor, thanks for doing this. Daniel George said at media day that you've been bragging on your Beaver Stadium record. What does it mean for you to be able to have that connection with your players, having played in the same conference against the same programs that they're now playing against week in and week out?
Yeah, this is the best conference, right? I really believe that, top to bottom. This is a extremely tough conference, and playing in Beaver Stadium, obviously, when we have the fans in there, it's electric. And so, yeah, being able to talk about some of the different stadiums that you've played in, that you've coached in, that they've played in, it does allow you to bond a little bit with your players, just in regards to, hey, I've been able to do some of these things too, and I understand what you guys are going through. And so, if anything, it's a conversation starter, and it's fun.
Rich Garcella, Reading Eagle, Greg Pickle on deck. Come on, Rich.
Hi, Taylor. Thanks again for your time. Taylor, can you describe the qualities that DeAndre has, and also somebody else that we really haven't seen much of, TJ Jones? Can you describe what you've seen from them since you arrived?
Yeah, I think Dre's ceiling is extremely high. He demonstrates the ability to be very explosive. He has some size to him, and he catches the ball pretty gosh dang well. The biggest thing that we've seen from him is his competitiveness. No matter if he's going against a freshman, going against a senior, no matter if it's a tire pull drill or a one-on-one rep, he is extremely competitive. And so we have talked about being able to channel all of that competitiveness and to make sure that we're using it the best way that we can. He will work. He will flat out work. And so you like that. I mean, it's one of our core values is great work ethic, and he definitely embodies that in the way that he approaches the game. TJ Jones, he has a big play potential kind of guy, and we've talked with him about the consistency and his ability to be consistent, and he's had a good week of practice. I'm excited about him. He's another guy that has some speed to him. He has some size, catches the ball fairly well. So those are some of the things that I've seen from him over the course of whether it be camp or the last week or so. You're muted there, Greg.
Hey, Coach, it's Greg Pickle from Penn Live. Thanks for your time. Just curious, your grades of the receivers as a whole after watching the first 2 weeks of film, and did you feel like there was an improvement from week 1 to week 2?
Yeah, I think our grades as a group were okay. We're solid. We have goals that we set in our room that we want to try to attain each week. We were close to hitting them last week, but we didn't hit all of them. And so we have a very high standard in our room. And the very first goal we have is to win the football game. And so, did I see improvement? I did see improvement. But Coach Shiraka will talk a lot about enacting perfection. If we know the details, no matter what the situation, and we revert back to our training, we will have an opportunity to even be more successful, even if the situation, the scenario wasn't exactly what we practiced in that we practice. So the guys are improving. Mentally, we are improving into attack. Okay, being more attacking in our play, being more attacking when the ball's in the air. We did better with contested catches last week than what we did the first week, and even what we did in fall camp. So that's exciting. I think the guys are a little bit more confident in that they can make some plays. The goal is to get better every single day, each week. And so, hopefully we continue to do that. I do know that the guys will be prepared. They're going to be fired up to play. So I'm excited for this weekend.
Tobias Wilbur, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Joe Giuliano.
Hey, Taylor, thanks for doing this with us as always, man.
No problem.
All right, so with that, your group being so young, where have you seen the most improvement from week 1 to week 2 and then this week in practice?
Just consistency. That's we had more explosives last game, and part of the reason why we had more explosives, obviously there was some unbelievable catches, but also guys were just making the consistent routine play. That's what you'll hear me talk about quite a bit is great routes equal easy catches, right? You guys have heard me that and say that before, and I really do believe that. When you are consistent on everything that you do, the explosives are going to happen. They just are going to happen. And so, from week 1 to week 2, I think we're just a little bit more consistent with the way that we ran our routes, how we ran our routes, how we caught the balls, our hand placement. We were more consistent with finding work after the ball was thrown. If it wasn't thrown to us, we were either trying to lead the ball or chase the ball, and we need to do a better job of that this week, of being around the ball. I want us to be, and our guys in our room have talked about it. They see it, that we want to be more aggressive in the run game after the ball is broken through the first line.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer, Mark Brennan on deck.
Good morning, Taylor. I wanted to get back to Keandre and Parker. In your Zoom conversations with them during the summer and then in training camp, what were the first signs when you told yourself, man, these kids could be something special?
It kind of just goes back to just consistency, right? Like, everybody talks about trust, and there's trust that goes on both ways, right? Them trusting me and me trusting them. And the trust is developed over a certain period of time. And so throughout the unconventional learning that was taking place over the summer, we had to find ways, Coach Carpenter, my graduate assistant, and myself, and just everybody on staff had to find creative ways to keep the guys engaged while also learning and also testing them. So you knew that they had potential to play early because they knew what they were doing when we were playing, whether it be some of the Jeopardy games that we were playing or other pop-up quizzes that we were doing, when there was consistent answers to the questions every single day or every single week. So you felt comfortable that going out there that they were going to, 1, know how to line up, and 2, know what to do. And I know that sometimes that gets overlooked, but football is the ultimate team sport. It literally takes 11 guys doing their job very well for a play to be either good or great. And so they showed at fairly early that they were capable of handling the playbook and knowing what to do.
Let's go to Mark Brennan, Fight on State, Nate Bauer on deck.
Taylor, you've played football at the highest level, but are you like the rest of us when you see Jahan make that one-handed catch and like kind of your jaw drops? And can you just speak about what he's brought to the table as a leader and those type of things in a relatively young receiver room?
That catch was unbelievable, and even the one before that was a pretty gosh dang good catch. To be honest, my room knows that we have a one-handed rule. Well, we don't want it. You better come down with it. You go up with one hand. You better come down with it, because here's the deal. We got to perfect catching the ball with two hands before we start working catching with one hand. So as much as I would like to say, oh yeah, we work that catch all the time in practice. Do we work on it? Yeah, we do. But that was just a talent to, I guess, credit to him and his talents. He has large hands. He really does. You see him palm the ball, and his hands are very big. So when I saw it, it was a great catch. When it comes to Jahan, is a quiet person by nature. He's not somebody that's going to be that rah guy, which is fine. We don't need him to be that rah guy. But he has seen the power of his voice and the power of his actions, what it does to either younger guys or what it does to even his peers. And so I think that he is trying to embrace that daily, and he is getting challenged on that daily, whether it be from myself or Coach Franklin or the rest of the staff. And that's another thing that's great about this program, honestly, is that our program helps develop leadership, and he is seeing the growth in himself and becoming a leader.
Let's go to Nate Bauer, BWI, Andrew Porterfield on deck.
Hey, Taylor. Under ideal circumstances, how deep of a rotation do you like to have among your receivers? And then if I could follow that, just the way that your snap counts have played out so far, are Jahan and Parker, like, is that about what you want from your starters?
We would love to. Here's the deal: whoever's out there deserves to be out there, and each week that will change, or it could change. It could change. Our room knows that we have competition every single week, and like I said earlier, is 1, being healthy, 2, knowing what to do, and then 3, how well do you do it? So if you've earned to be in the 2 deep, there's a chance that you're going to play. Is it going to be as much as you may want, or is it too much? Like, we're gonna monitor that, and we're gonna try to put the guys in the right spot so that they can succeed. That's very important to me. Like, let's just say if Jahan's going 7-8 plays, that 8th play, he might not be as good as he was on that 7th play. So you do have to be aware of the snap counts, and then whoever goes in there is going to be put in a position to that they know what they're doing, they know how to do it, and now it's just up to them to perform.
Andrew Porterfield, Daily Collegian, Ben Jones on deck.
Kind of following up with my last question, what does it mean for you personally to be back in the Big Ten as a coach in the conference you once dominated as a player?
It feels good, honestly. It really feels good. You see familiar faces. You see familiar venues. When you walk into certain places, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, shoot. I remember either getting beat in there or you remember winning in there. You might remember a certain play. So personally, it does bring back a lot of memories and even emotions when you do go back into some of these stadiums, and even walking into Beaver Stadium every week, whether it's practice or a game. I mean, it's I flat out love this conference, and I absolutely love being a part of Penn State football.
Let's go to Ben Jones with Frank Danny on deck.
Hey, Taylor. I haven't taken a shower yet, so I'm going to save you the visual. But I'm curious, if you've got a freshman receiver, what is it that you want him to be better at the end of the year than he is right now? What do you go, you have checked off these 3 boxes, and now I feel good about the progress that you've made?
Sometimes as a freshman, you just learn what you have to do. And so you are really trying to learn what to do. I mean, it really is. It's like, what do I really, really do? And do I know it so well that no matter what the technique that the that the defender is trying to use, no matter what the coverage, I know what I'm doing. And then you also want to improve how they're doing it, right? So you want their success rate to go up. You want at the end of the year that they have started to try to master how we do things off of different things. I mean, if you just take a slant route, there's like 6 different ways to run a slant route. And that might seem, so everybody knows a slant route. In 3 steps, you go inside. But what happens when you get a cloud? What happens when you get a heavy press and he's inside, outside? Like, what do you do? And so you want to see at the end of the year that they have progressed in how to do things. And then last is why. Why is our concepts the way that they are? And then can you play a different position? Can we move you around? And you know why we are moving you around, and why we have a flash fake here, or why we're play actioning this, or why do we want you to delay here? They understand. They just have more understanding of those 3 things at the end of their first year.
Time for a few more questions. Frank Danny, your daily record. Tyler Donahue on deck.
Hi, Taylor. First, give us a glimpse from one of your catches that rivaled Dotson's at the end of that game. And then second, his performance on those 2 plays. What exactly can that do to the younger guys, for the younger guys when they see that? Especially when Jahan's, he's a pretty quiet guy to begin with.
I don't think I have anything that rivals that catch. That catch was legit. Like, that's one of the ones you see and you saw it live and you're like, ooh, oh, okay. So I don't know if I have a catch like that. That was nasty. That was pretty good. And what I think what it does for him, for Jahan, is I think that, we played a really good team last week. And he went up against some guys that have some pub, a pub with their name. And I think that it shows when you're playing in the Big Ten, you're playing against the best. So being able to do certain things against the best, or some of the best, it gives you confidence that, hey, I can do this. Now, on the flip side of that is, how do you handle that? How do you approach this week? You have to approach this week like last week did not happen. Okay? And so the young guys, they need to see it and be like, you know what? I'm a part of this group. I'm a part of this group, and we want to be dynamic receivers that are impacting plays. That's what we want to be. And I do think that seeing a peer that whether you look up to, that you work hard beside, you want to be like, okay, I can do this too. So I think if anything, it's motivating.
Got time for 2 more questions. Tyler Donahue, Audrey Snyder on deck.
Hi, Taylor. You talked a lot about the freshmen. I'm going to ask you to do that a little bit more here. We saw Malik Mega make his debut on the 3 deep. Jaden Dotton was there before. And you've got the Norvell Black coming from Lackawanna. Can you discuss kind of the behind-the-scenes competition those guys are going through right now to just try to get a chance to make their mark in the game? And what do you see from that 2020 group beyond Parker and beyond DeAndre? Because it was such a large receiver class.
Yeah, it's definitely not a sprint. It's a marathon. And so, there's ability. Like, you just look at Malik's size, right? I mean, big shoulders, long arms. He can run. He's fairly quick. Obviously, there's adjustment from Canadian ball to American ball, and so the ingredients are there. It's just young. He's young, and so it's about developing, trying to make sure that we can get him better. Norval Black is a guy who, he comes from a great junior college program, and coming now to a big time Big Ten program, and so making sure that time management is a priority for him, and that he is investing, and he is doing a great job right now of learning how to invest his time so that he can be the best receiver that he can be. And Jaden Dotton, I really like him. He's consistent. We continue to push him every single day to get that dog in him. And I tell you what, he's answering the call. So I really like that class. I think that class, we've done a good job, and there's definitely growth that needs to be made and developing. And that's the reason why they call me coach, right? Is to help develop those guys so that they can see their mark and whatever, and feel the role that they have on this team to the best of their ability.
Our last question goes to Audrey Snyder with The Athletic.
Great, no pressure. Thanks for your time, Taylor. Hope you're well.
I am.
I wanted to ask you more about Parker Washington. I believe he might have been the first guy you visited after getting hit in the road for Penn State, and I think I know why you're smiling, because we all kind of remember the belt. But what can you tell me about that visit and building that relationship with him? Because so many of your guys have said that he's really quiet, doesn't say much. What's he been like for you?
Yeah, good old Parker. Flew over to Texas. He was the first guy I met. I thought I would have a good idea to tuck my shirt in, which it wasn't earlier. And so that's how that all happened. Comes from a great family. Mom competitive, dad competitive, sister competitive. And I know this, he doesn't want to disappoint. And I told him at that point on that visit that you're going to get better. You're going to learn how to flat out dissect routes. And he's continued. I mean, even this week, there are some things that he did this week where it might not have been as good as he wants it to be. And so we talked about it and we dissected it. And if you guys were able to look at some of the stuff from earlier on in fall camp, you would see the progress that he has made in his route running. And then obviously it's reps, right? It's reps, so that you can get comfortable with the way your body is supposed to move, the way your body is going to be positioned when you are getting ready to catch the ball. And he loves running routes. And there's a tremendous amount of joy, especially playing kind of that inside receiver of just routing somebody up. I mean, when you run a route that's just so juicy that it makes you smile at the end of the catch. And I think he is getting a lot of pride to himself of being the best route runner in the Big Ten. That's what he wants to be. And then obviously being one of the best route runners in the country. So he has that ability. He has that drive. He has that fire. And he can catch the ball pretty gosh dang good.